I have this big unease within me that like, if something happens to me, who knows how to take care of him? And that, I mean, for a medical mom, of course, that's like, it's very high, but that's all moms. Like, we're just like, what? Like, this is my role. Like, I'm not fearful of death. Like, I know what's going to happen on the other side. I'm fearful of not being here to support the humans that I am meant to support. And
absolutely.
Here's the deal. We're two moms and we popped babies out in our 40s. And it's hard. It was hard.
It's also the best thing that's ever happened to either one of us.
Yeah, but now we're moms in our 40s.
In our 40s.
With preschoolers. So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
Let's bring the community together of women.
All the moms, 40, 20.
And also, like, let's just talk about, like, real shit. Real life, real women shit.
Yeah, real women shit. Let's do that.
Shit's hard. And also, it's funny. Life is funny.
Let me just pull my bush out of my bush.
Cheers.
Cheers. Unfiltered.
Because if you want a show, we're a shit show. We're here for you.
Yeah.
oh, welcome to
I don't hear it.
Cherish Mamas. It's not on there.
Oh,
I liked it. No, I think
bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam.
do. I don't know.
Hello.
Hey guys, it's Cal.
It's Megs.
We're here.
Here we are.
We're here in Care Bear hats. I am Sunshine Bear
I'm Wish Bear.
because we need a little bit of
Of a Care Bear stare.
Care Bear stare today. We had a gym sesh this morning, and I just pretty much did everything I could not to cry the whole time.
Yeah.
And Megs, I think that if we were just mic'd up, then we would have been recorded.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
here we are.
we're bringing you guys.
We mic'd up and we're said, let's record this shit
Let's
today
do it again.
because
Yeah.
it needs to be talked about.
And we could do some push-ups and planks while we do the episode, but that might be distracting for you guys, so let's not.
Yeah, I already did that anyways.
Yeah, I feel done.
I just want to sit here in this chair right now.
I'm going to just sit here. I didn't even grab Kleenexes or anything.
No.
Don't worry, you guys probably won't. You'll be fine.
You've seen us snotted up before.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Plenty
Don't worry
of times.
about it.
Plenty
Yeah.
of times. Let's just dive into it. I'm just going to tell my story of how the morning began, and then how Megan is not only a therapist, but she's a dream analyst,
Right.
analyzerist.
Yeah. You can get me at 1-900. Just kidding.
Yeah. I actually had
Only $5.99 a minute. Call me anytime.
one of my coworkers at my very first job out of college, we did internet sales and phone sales, and she had such great numbers. We found out later also she had a 900 number, and she made great numbers from the 900 number.
So she had a
She had the
pre
voice.
OnlyFans.
She had the yep.
OnlyFans.
Maybe she's killing the game with an actual OnlyFans now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, girl.
Good for her.
Yeah,
Get it.
Fun.
Get it.
Let's just get a little bit of this out before we get started today. Okay. And then we'll move into the rest of our conversation. We're just going to share a full conversation with you guys.
Sounds good to me.
It'll be good. So last night I was the not sleeper. You guys know usually Megan's the not sleeper. She just, go to bed at 4
I like
a.m.
to solve all my problems in the middle of the night.
Yep. And just seriously, 4 or 5 days ago, I was like, hey, Megs, let's think about this when you wake up at night. You can't solve the world's problems, but you can manifest. So instead of trying to make lists or do things, just really embrace your manifestation process.
Which I loved that idea.
Yeah.
And I took it to heart and to mind.
And you did it. You slept, I think, a little bit better the next night.
I did.
For one night.
I did.
It was great.
It was great.
So here's me. Last night, it's 8 p.m. and the sun is still out at 8 p.m. Kids are in bed. John's downstairs. Yep. Birds are tweeting. Windows wide open because it was a gorgeous day. I'm TV off, go to sleep. I'm out by 8:02. And so as it turns out, when the kids wake up at 2:30 and need whatever they need, I just can't go back to sleep. And I'm trying to follow my own words from Megs. And instead I'm up looking up my colonoscopy instructions because the big old event's coming up for both of us here. Yeah.
Yeah. We somehow scheduled it a week apart from each other. Not even 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
But that I feel rings true for everybody, or at least I think most women in the middle of the night, because it's the final time, there's nobody saying, Mom, 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 babe,
did you
babe.
check your colonoscopy?
Yeah. It's
Prep
like,
instructions yet?
I finally have to focus on myself for a moment.
Yeah.
So let me just think of all the things that I need to do.
Little 3 a.m. Like pooper investigation. So I'm going through because I'm like, is it 2 weeks? What do I need to be doing? So I look at that, and then I start looking at my period tracker because I'm like, Cal, you are like a week late. What's going on? So I'm looking at that and blah 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 blah. Okay, so finally, about 2 hours later, maybe 2.5 hours later, I just delicately fall back, like not all the way asleep, just a little bit asleep. So that's when you have these dreams, like these vivid dreams, and I first have a dream that I'm at the doctor's and we were there for multiple things. Mind you, guys, like we don't even know how to go through the number of deaths we've just recently been through. So we're kind of a freaking wreck anyways. But I would just say, we'll just wrap it up to, yeah.
5. I think I'm on my 5th.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So I'm at the doctor's, of course. And also, by the way, side note, I've been having a really difficult time with my son's medication ever since we got home from Mexico. So for some weird reason, his desmopressin, which helps him to stop peeing so that he doesn't have like seizures or have this like sodium imbalance, and it makes him comfortable. It works when we're at sea level, but then when we come home, it's like really out of whack. And it works stronger when he is sick because your other organs create this hormone. It's just jacked up. So since we've been home, I feel like I'm brand new at being an ABPD mom. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea. So in my dream, I'm at the doctor's. We are there for multiple reasons, but then I'm like, they still haven't gotten me for my appointment. Like I'm just waiting. So I go over, I'm like, hey, we're still in the waiting room for who knows what. And because we're in a lot of hospitals lately. And then, and I'm like, so I need my, my ABP medication. Cause now I'm taking it instead of Witten, or I need to take it for him. And I need to know about my like other pooper instructions. It's something about my colonoscopy. Not really sure. And she's like, well, I have news for you. This came back and I don't think you're going to like it. You're pregnant. And I'm like, I think I started like crying. Like, I'm not really sure what to think about this.
This is a dream. Also, just as a PSA reminder.
We're in
dreamland.
I'm just, thanks, Megs. Yeah, this is.
Because holy moly. Woo!
But then Megs, she translates it for me later. So then, so I kind of wake up, go back to sleep. And this next dream it's awful, you guys. It's awful. So we're at Waterworld. We have this huge water park in Denver, and they have this wave pool that is just a reckon for punishment. I don't even know how they have that thing still going. This one huge wave will come out and everybody crashes into each other. Like kids are all over the place. They're flailing underneath. Like it purposely is giving you an undertow. And then it crashes forward and comes back. So the wave's coming and I'm like, John, everybody's in the middle of the, like where the wave's coming. I'm like, John, you got to grab the kids. And we're like, okay, it's only Witten that's in here. And so he kind of like tries to get out of the way and I catch the wave and try to dive into him. And when I come back, Witten's just swirling at the bottom of the pool, like with the wave motion. And I'm like, John, what? And she's like, no, he's just having, like, he's like moving in the water. So I completely freak out. I get him out of the pool. I start doing the Heimlich and he's like little. So CPR. Like, I'm not, I think I, but
you were doing the Heimlich?
I think I was though. I think I was doing the pat on his back and the scoop out of his mouth.
That's the Heimlich.
So that's
the baby Heimlich.
That's what I was doing instead of CPR. And he wasn't coming to, and then I wake up. And that's my dream. So I'm telling Megs this and I'm like trying not to like, this is where I'm like starting to lose it. And and she's like, what's going on? Cause I just told her, I said, I just feel like my head's really messy lately. And I don't know, we've done episodes about death. We've done episodes about life. We both talk about like the other night, we just had this like beautiful hug cry session. Like, I just want to live every day to the fullest. So Meg says like, what do you feel like's maybe going on? And I said, I just feel like, even though I know I want to live in the moment and be happy right now. And I'm not one to, I really work on not worrying because I worried so much as a child that I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I said foot to drop, and I still think that's right.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like Cal saying.
Yeah. I was waiting for the other foot to drop because if you're missing a foot, you're falling over. Like you can't, it doesn't work.
You already got one foot gone. You're waiting for the other one. Now you can't go anywhere. You're stuck.
Yeah.
In the pit of despair.
In the pit. So I'm like, I just like it. So we're supporting each other through this conversation. And then Megs goes, Meg says,
I said, well, do you want my outside perspective of what I'm hearing you tell me right now? this is just what my brain is interpreting that information that your subconscious is trying to tell you. I said, are you feeling unsupported in helping Witten? Are you feeling all alone, doing it all by yourself? Because when I hear you say in your dream, now you're having to take the medication that is for your son, but it's given to you maybe to go through to him. And that feels like, wow, you're taking on now the whole disease to help your son. Because this disease that Witten has is very complicated. It's very rare. Even the doctors struggle to know exactly what to do. So it's not like she has a prescription that says every 4 hours, take 1 tablespoon. And that's what gets, or 5 milliliters or whatever it is. It's not like that. It's so uncontrolled and pretty chaotic in just figuring out what to do with that. And so to live that way on a daily basis without living that way normally, and really being the mom, and also really being Cal, who is very much likes to know what is going to happen. She likes to be very in a fun but controlled area for herself. So, wow, here's a totally uncontrollable thing to deal with every day of your life. So I just felt like that it was feeling like, and then now here, the next round of the dream is Witten is drowning basically with his dad, and Cal just trying to jump and have a little bit of fun in the waves, and she comes back and now she's got to give him the Heimlich to try and get the water out of his body. And so I just
is like, now that you say that, this is a water, like it is water.
It's a water
diabetes.
Disease. Yeah.
So it is, if he has too much water in his body, that is a risk. And there are kids who have died from ABPD from swimming because they've taken in too much water.
See, gosh, I didn't even know that. That's wow. Yeah.
So Meg shares that with me. I'm like, wow. And yeah, all of that was like so on point. See, dream analyzer she is. And I was just like, that rings true in so many different ways, because our families are confronted with so much death right now. I have this big unease within me that, like, if something happens to me, who knows how to take care of him? And that, I mean, for a medical mom, of course, that's like, it's very high, but that's all moms. Like, we're just like, what? Like, this is my role. Like, I'm not fearful of death. Like, I know what's going to happen on the other side. I'm fearful of not being here to support the humans that I am meant to support. And
absolutely
with Witten, just, yeah.
Yeah. I think moms and just parents in general. I mean, if you really, especially when you're a mature-ish mom, I think that you do confront yourself with those things. Like, because if you're honest, like, and you're just trying to make sure that everything is very good for your family when you're set up, you do have to sit down and say, well, if something happens to us, even where does my kid go?
Awful. And you know what makes, when
I don't even want to think about that.
When I was 23 and 25, having the bigs, that my brain just didn't even consider that a possibility. We had very little death in our lives. And I don't think we even.
Well, in your 20s too, you're totally invincible. You're not gonna die.
You're gonna push the limits on every single experience you can possibly have. And so then it's like, by the time your brain knows what's happening at 35, the kids are already 15, 17, and now or whatever, that was bad math, but you guys get the point. Like, they're older and they're healthy kids. So it wasn't like, now I'm like, I don't know if I said this in our conversation, but it's like, okay, Cal, like, you got to make sure you make it at least another 10 years, because then at least he'll be able to take care of himself, which is such like a weird, morbid thing to think about when you're trying to live your life and enjoy every moment. But then, like, just, I know God has a timing for everything. And I get, that's probably one of my main things that I just heard right now, Megan, is like, I need to root myself in my faith more, that if something were to happen to me, he will have a plan for Witten.
Yeah. And that's why we're talking about it, because this is part of the plan. And I think that was the other part. You did mention that earlier when you said, you know, because you were worried about your period, and if you were like in real life saying, because I said, when you said, I was pregnant in my dream, I'm like, did you take a test? Because that shit comes real. Like, that's true sometimes. And she was like, and I did, and it's negative. So now I'm just waiting. And then, you said to me, you know, in every other instance in every other timeline in my life, ever, even in a dream, if I was to be pregnant, I would be ecstatic. Mm-hmm. And in this one time, I was scared and worried. And it was because what you just said.
Being mature.
Because
this mature-ish mom shit's hard.
And what, if I am going to have another baby, I have to live again. I have to live longer now. And you know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, I think that's probably something that maybe we all go through, but man, it really is hitting home for you moms out there who also have children who have more complex needs than a blessed, healthy family. You know, it's just as different. And so, yeah, that's a big, big weight to carry around daily without even confronting it.
Yeah.
And knowing that it's there, but not having to know that it's there, you know? So I'm really proud of you for finally feeling that, picking up that weight and putting it out front so we could talk about it.
Yeah. And so I think it bridged so well to multiple other conversations that we'll bring up, but it's like, so Megan's like, okay, like, what are we going to do about it? Like, let's start to think about some different things that will make you feel supported and
because
just
the
get
truth
you more
of
comfortable.
Because the truth is, Cal, you are doing this by yourself right now. You are, because you are. I mean, nobody else knows how to do it, and
you guys, it's this bad. Like, I go to the endocrinologist on this Wednesday and I'm like, I don't even know what questions to ask them because they have no clue. They're like, well, why don't you just try and giving them 2 a.m. and 3 p.m? And it doesn't work like that. The only doctor that I've had a conversation with that had any sense was like out of South Africa or something. I don't know. They did this like special Zoom with us. And it's just, my Facebook group, thank you to every single person in my Facebook group. They answer the questions because they have the disease. They're part of that rare few breed. And that's the most supported I ever feel, but it still is, I mean, it's a 4-year-old.
And it's still such an individual disease. Mm-hmm. Like, even though everyone is kind of having the same symptoms and going through the same thing, right. It's still not like a mom can say, oh, well, I medicate him at this time, this much, and that works.
Yep.
Because it's not the same with everyone. So,
and their metabolism has such a different effect on it. It's just...
And age and location and gosh, like mind blowing how complicated and isolating it is for you.
Like, never would you like desire for your kid to have diabetes, but I'm like, God, if I could just have a freaking finger poke and then give him a pump or an insulin or something. And I would never wish that upon anyone. It's just, this is hard. And what was so beautiful about this is like, so then Megan's like steps in, like, what are we going to do about it? Like, let's start to talk about some things where you'll feel more supported, where we are all getting more educated about the disease. Or maybe it's even like them like joining the Got Diabetes group and their diabetes insipidus, where they're learning about it and like creating, she said, how about creating a plan of action so that if something were to happen, and this is coming from a space of creating comfort and less anxiety for me, of like, how would I direct that person in learning how to medicate him from step 1? Because I can't just be like, okay, by the way, our current dose is, a half at this time and this, because it changes every day. She can't do that.
And even though you are giving me that information, I still wouldn't know what to do with that information.
Right.
Like, okay, so then I just go off that and then that's not right the next day, but I wouldn't even know that it wasn't right. You know, so yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So it was really supportive. It was a great gym sesh. We got to work out a lot of stuff, the muscles, the mind, the heart, the tears. Mm-hmm. And it led us down this entire another journey of conversations about loneliness as a mother. And I don't want to say like loneliness in your marriage, but loneliness as a mother.
I think it's important to have the conversation. And this was another part of our whole conversation. We talked about a lot of stuff today.
You're like, were you guys at the gym for 6 hours?
Yeah, no.
We worked out for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Another part of the conversation was that it's also super important to talk and get it out, because we don't want to, first of all, stay stuck in it or pretend like everything is always great and then, push that shit deep down, and then it comes out in another way, either in your body or at somebody in the wrong way or whatever. So having a friend, a person that you can sit with and say, I need to get this out of me. I want to talk to you about it and vent about it. And then either we come up with solutions or we say, thanks for listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we move on. And then that's like, it doesn't mean you can't never talk about it again, but now you can be like, oh yeah, that's better. That was out of my body.
Yeah.
And here we go. So,
and I realized something that I've done, as I've told you guys before, I usually have very solid, good boundaries. And I am the space that you want to come to when you want to be positive, when you want to have gratitude, when you want to be filled up, when you want to be happy. And I have another one of my cousins, and we were talking about some hard stuff. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm talking about negative things. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, no, I want you to know that those are things we do need to talk about and move through. And I'm not going to be there to get stuck with you or to support you in, I don't want to say
but pity party kind of.
Yes. Yeah.
Like we're not here to party with you at your pity party.
Right. I'm here to support you through it. And I want to hear about the real things that are going on in your life. And I'm not just rainbows and sunshines, wish bear and sunshine bear. But I want to be able to be that person for you too. And there have been situations or friendships or things where people have been stuck, and I've had to be like, hey, we've gone through some of this. You're in a hard spot. You're a little bit stuck right now. I'm here. I don't have the emotional capacity with what I'm dealing with right now to be there for that. Mm-hmm. I love you. And I'm here once you work through things. And I think Megs, that felt right for me, because during all of Witten's diagnosis, I needed to process and be with just him. And I, like, having someone to complain about it would have only hindered our journey. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But then we kind of moved on to our marriage and the partnership that we're in, whatever that partnership is for you, with whoever you have a child with, or just maybe, a significant other that you're sharing your life with, and how we were feeling divided in, this is your role, this is my role. Because I know that was a really, really hard thing for my marriage in the beginning of parenting, because we were parents for the first time. That was the first time we ever did it. And I did get the opportunity to be able to stay home. And I just was so extremely grateful that was the opportunity that I had, that I was able to finally have this child. And then I got to stay home with him. And my husband really stepped up and went hard at work and did his job at work. But our life did a 7, 8, 20, whatever the heck. I mean, like
9:46, a spinalinal.
Seriously. And so that was something we really, really had to work through. And it caused a lot of arguments.
Yeah.
There was a lot of arguments in the beginning, a lot of comparison, a lot of, I do this, you don't do this, and back and forth and back and forth. And when it's like, well, I do all of this, well, I do all of this, and you just we had to come to a point where it's like, this is not a competition of who's doing more. We are a team. Everything we are doing is for the greater good of our entire family. And we don't need to compare. And we've grown through that.
Yeah. I love how because you brought that to me one day. You're like, you're a team, not like you're a team against the world,
no,
but you are a team supporting each other through the world, through this life.
Yeah. And if there ever is a problem, it's you and me against the problem, not you and me against each other. So we're trying to figure out how to successfully navigate whatever this problem is in front of us together. That's hard. It's hard. And it's something we just had to and are still learning how to do. But we kind of figured out that, and the roles were great, and it was going really good, and it's still going fantastic. But man, are there moments when it's like, I am feeling like I'm doing it all at home. I'm doing it all at home.
And like you said, motherhood is a 24/7 job. It doesn't turn off. We don't just get to sit on the couch and watch a show at night to relax after going all day. We don't get to sleep at night. We don't get to like, oh, I'm going to go to bed and I'll wake up tomorrow at 8 a.m. No,
I don't get a 30-minute alone drive home and listen to a podcast
or
Listen, I don't get to listen to my favorite Maturish Mama's podcast all by myself on the way home.
My favorite thing that you said earlier today is like, my favorite music is fart music. Cause guess what?
Do you like jingle farts?
Do you like jingle?
Because
that's all we listen to.
That's what I get down
Mom,
to now.
what sort of fart music can we put on today? There's a lot of, well, man, now we're listening to Toad and it is awful. So we're like, so you get to listen to your own, that's neat, your own music,
You get
your
to
own
choose
stuff. Yeah.
what you like.
How neat.
To put on the radio on the way home. That's cool. You had 15 adult conversations today. I haven't had one.
You ate out for lunch instead of leftover mac and cheese, 3 bites in between whatever else you were trying to get done.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. And we're not coming from a place of a complaint
at all.
It's a little bit of a comparison at this moment, because at this moment I feel like I'm doing it all. And so then that's kind of moved us into this next little conversation of how do we gently and lovingly and appropriately be able to receive information as well, because it's going to go about both ways.
Right.
Because it did come to a point very recently with another hard moment in life, another sad thing. And all of a sudden I was like, I went to John and I was like, I'll just do it. I'm just doing everything. And he's like, well, I do a lot too.
Yeah. We're all doing a lot. We're all doing our best.
And we all really are all doing a lot.
But we just have to communicate more clearly about what our needs are.
I waited too long. I waited too long to say what I needed.
Yeah.
And then I also was finally in that space where then I addressed more than what I needed, even support wise with family, I was sad, and I needed support in my grief.
Yeah.
My grief.
Well,
my Christopher grieves.
I got to figure out where to grieve. I mean, like literally, like just give me 20 minutes to cry in the spa or whatever that is, like to move through it. So when you have these heightened experiences and emotions, all of those other things just feel heavier and bigger. And if we can address them before we get into this ridiculous death chapter that we're in right now, that would be nice, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're in like a great phase of your marriage, you might want to be like, hey, you know what? Or your whatever you got going on. Let me just think about, like, would there be something, is there something that maybe is eating away that I'm just not talking about that we could create a solution around? Can I tell them the story about the Bigs?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when the Bigs were little, John and I just didn't communicate. Like, I do not know what we did. And plus I was telling Megs, like, he worked a lot, but he didn't love his job. So it's not like he was even like in this like super happy spot. Right now he works a lot, but he loves what he does, which is cool because then we come together better. And not loving what you're doing, you guys, that can be hard on a person too. So instead of us communicating and working on that, I just started making lists. I had like a chart of all of the things I did. I did 6 loads of laundry. I did the dishes this many times. So when he came home from the day, I want to be like, here's all the shit that I did. And also, by the way, I was working that whole time too. So I had like this whole thing. And then my friend would come over a few times for personal training every week, and we would just bitch. We would just That wasn't, I'm going to tell you guys.
Husband. Guess what he did? Guess what he said to me?
And he's probably at work being like, dude, I've slaved all freaking day. I come home. I'm just tired. Blah, blah, blah. So that's what not to do. That's what I would recommend not to doing.
Which is also a good thing to learn.
Yeah. And I had to learn it.
Take it from us.
That's why sometimes you just need 2 rounds of babies so you can figure it out the next time. Because as soon as Megan brought the question up, like, what can we do? I was like, you know what? I know some other things that I could ask for support from John for that I know he'll say yes, but I need to be more direct about communicating about, hey, could you have some alone time with the boys each week to create more of a tight bond? Because right now you're working so hard and you're supporting the family, and I make sure that I tell him that all the time because I am so damn grateful. Like, even though Megan and I were talking about the jingle fart song and all the things, man, I wouldn't give it up. I would listen to every jingle farts forever to be able to be with our babies as much as we are.
100%.
We love it. Even at the gym, we're like, maybe we get a workout. Maybe we'll just sit here and stare at them. Like, we don't know. Like, so we really do love.
Yeah. I really acknowledge the position that I'm in. I really take it seriously that I know that not all moms even gets this opportunity. So I am very aware of, I mean, part of it I think is my age. Part of it is that I waited so long to have a baby and was wanting that so much for most of my adult life, that here I am, that I'm like, believe me, I'm sniffing his head as often. I'm taking in every moment and loving every moment as much as I possibly can, as, you know, as a regular human. I mean, you know, I have my moments where I'm like, just stop touching me for 5 seconds.
For sure. But like, I'm thinking about taking Whit into the bathroom today at Chick-fil-A. And I'm like, I just had to hug him and hold him. And I love you so much. You're such a great, like, I mean, Mom, we haven't left each other's side for weeks. You need to pull me in that close. I do.
So I do want to acknowledge that I really know how good I have it. And I want to acknowledge all those moms out there who are working their butts off to also be a great career person, or have whatever you guys need, because you need to work. And, you know, and I think that that's amazing. And I just tip my hat and bow down to you as well, because I don't know if I could even do that.
Yeah.
So,
and no matter what, we all still have the challenges. So like for our either work from home moms, that was the hardest for me. And then you have you're working at a place,
outside
mom.
the
no
house,
matter what, the laundry has to get done. The kids have to get fed. The teeth have to be brushed. Somebody's got to clip their nails. Like all of the different things have to be accomplished. And that's still a conversation for all of us. And also, Megs, even though we love all of that and we're so appreciative of it, that doesn't mean that we don't need time to grieve, to be alone, to listen to
see my friends,
podcasts, to not listen to jingle farts for 5 minutes. Like there's, we're going to insert song here.
Gosh. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. To have a, I mean, even a phone conversation with a friend that you haven't seen
uninterrupted,
for a while. Or maybe you saw him yesterday and you want to talk to him on the phone now, but uninterrupted. Yeah. Total time to yourself. I think that's the same for everybody. So,
and then where we kind of just came to with that is it is about communication, and the things that go unspoken, you're speaking them very loudly in the opposite direction generally. So if there's something that you need, you get the opportunity to talk about it. And it might not go the way that you want right at first. And it might be hard for you to find your meat in the middle of whatever that is. But when you can acknowledge the people in your life, and this is for friendships too.
Absolutely. Any relationship.
When you can acknowledge the things that you love about that person and the way that they show up for you and for your family and for themselves, and you can really light them up, that's so wonderful to be able to say, this is how I appreciate you and love you. And also, here's a couple things that I really feel like would support me in becoming my ultimate me. Like could you do bedtime routine once a week? Or, and not just like not coming from a space of like, can you just give a bath sometime for good? Like if you have that attitude stepping into it, that's probably not you can't attract bees with salt. That's right.
Let me tell you what it is, because that's what I'm here for. You attract more bees with honey than you do vinegar.
And salt.
And piss.
And vinegar. So,
and attitude.
So being able to come and have that reasonable conversation with love and with an understanding, like, this is for me to be my best. And then when I've done this with John, because as mature-ish moms, I do think we get better at communicating because we've had more practice and we've fucked it up more times.
It's true.
There's a lot of times where I'm like, and now what would help you? Like, what do you need? Like we've argued a lot about the laundry before. Like that's just neither one of us really want to do it, but John likes to do it a certain way. So then he had the job completely for a while, but then that was a little too much. So we found this meet in the middle where I do the kids and mine, and I just toss all his stuff on a counter and he does his, like, just little things. Just a little meet in the middle.
A little meet in the middle. And then I did want to just touch on that part too. I think that sometimes when you open up a space to communicate, it helps either party. Like if your husband comes to you or you come to him, or your friend comes to you, or vice versa. If you come there with an open heart, it opens up a space to say, gosh, you know what? That is true. I do have something that's bothering me that I need to bring up that I didn't even realize, but it just got to me. Now here it is. Or thank you for telling me that. Like now I can show up for you better in that way, because I don't think anyone necessarily, especially someone you love and who loves you back, wants to come and piss you off all the time.
Right.
Or come home from work and you're just like, oh God, like, and that feeling is mutual, but you don't know what it is. You know, it's like you're in this weird space where it's like, and maybe it's 50 things because you did bath last night and then you read the book and then you put him to bed and then he woke up 5 times and then you got up this morning and
So like a normal day.
yeah.
Like every day.
Sorry, I'm just reading off my timeline. And then my itinerary. And then he say he did throw the laundry in, but he didn't do it the way you wanted it to be done that day. And now you come home and you're sour and he's like, what the hell is her problem?
Right.
Now he's like, so opening up a clear space to do it. And maybe it might not be that day because you guys are both feeling pretty sour, but at a time where you feel like, okay, I can do this now.
Yeah.
Like I can do this now is a better way to do it. I'm just going to admit I am not always good at that. I'm actually like really not most of the time. I start to where I'm at in that journey for me is it just happened on Saturday. I was in like a funk. I woke up in a funk. I was not feeling it that day. And I was so short with everybody. I was short with my husband. I was short with Cass, and we had his cousin over. And, you know, you look back and I try not to look back too much and beat myself up, but you kind of look back and you're like, gosh, I wish I just would have shown up better. And then later in that day, I figured out what it was. And then I could have that conversation and I just apologized. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, I was a dick all day.
Yeah, sorry, I was a dick all day. Because we're human and we're going to show up that way no matter what sometimes. No matter how great you are at it, no matter how much you've practiced, some days you're just going to have a funky day and you just come back. Because, and I've gotten so, that is one thing that I'm going to just, I'm going to toot my horn on that one because I have really, really started to be able to come back and say that I'm sorry. No matter, I used to be a little bit more defensive, like, but you did this and that pissed me off. Yeah. Now I can just be like, I didn't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I came at you that way.
Taking responsibility it just goes a really long way in all things in our relationships, when you can be like, I just messed that one up. Or with your kids too, sometimes like, you know what, I had an angry heart this morning and I probably should have, it would have been better if I would have done some deep breaths and maybe just created some space for myself. And then you get to teach your kids a little bit more about emotional regulating when you're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Instead of, which is sometimes what they do.
Not sometimes.
So yeah, a lot of the time.
We're really in that right now.
It'll happen. You have a 3-year-old.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, wait, did you mean him or you or Johnny?
Yep.
Yep. All of us. So I think that today we weren't going to record because we were both feeling funky monkey. We got lots of stuff going on. Now Megs is cleaning out grandma's house and she's helping with her dad. And there's a lot going on there. And we're planning 3 funerals, you know, and there's a lot of stuff. And then we started having this conversation like, this is a little heavy conversation that people I think would be able to relate to. And then we're like, but we should like really provide them with some quality steps. We actually did way more than I thought. And I said, you know what, maybe we should just tell them what's going on in our lives because they're probably feeling the same thing and might want to commiserate in our group or whatever it is.
Yeah,
for
totally.
A
like just feel supported, because the other thing that we talked about communication is that there should be definitely, I really, really hope and pray that you do have at least one friend or a family member, a sister, a mother, a brother that you can go to and get these things out sometimes. Because I feel like a lot of people don't share in fear and they're afraid of being judged, like, which is fair because that's sometimes what happens, but they just don't share. And we're like over the fear. We're not going to be afraid anymore. We're sharing what's going on in real time, real life.
At the gym, crying at the gym while we're doing planks, whatever.
Yeah. And all the meatheads are like, oh my God, there's too much estrogen in here tonight. No, I think we scared them. Actually.
I think we might have a little bit.
And then we started talking about colonoscopies and
real
periods
loud
and all the things. So, but I just want to the communication part, no more fear. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And the more you can step out of that fear, especially just in this this section of your life as far as communication, it's gonna open up windows, doors, skylights, all the things for you.
Holes.
There's peepholes.
That's
Hello.
that was not right.
All those things for you, because that is what you need. And don't be afraid of judgment, because you're going to find that the people that are there to judge you aren't the people you want to be with anyway. So you're just weeding them out.
Yeah.
So no fear of judgment. Don't also, you're not, it's okay to share real life, real things, real, not positive. I don't know what
Real
I'm trying.
hard shit.
Hard things that need to be talked about so that you can move through them. We're gonna just keep talking about the move through.
We can't not keep talking about it, because otherwise people do get so stuck. So we mention it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to get stuck in our stucks.
Yep.
And when you guys take this on, like, well, and you probably already have, we're really doing this for ourselves today. I'm telling you what, I feel so much lighter and better, Megs, since we got to do that sesh today, where if we hadn't, and you wouldn't have just been that space for me to open up and then to offer me that perspective. I was like, oh shit, like that. I would have never thought about it like that. And it just opened up a lot for me. And now I feel like I have some different things that I get to do. And then I just feel lighter having just spoke it, and sometimes that's all it takes. So I'm just so grateful for you and for your friendship. And I pray that all of you guys have your person, your mimostas.
Your mimostas, your little rhombus, whatever shape you need, whatever you want to call them.
Yep, your Care Bear partner.
Your Care Bear.
Oh my gosh. We got to go squeeze some babies.
Yep.
Let's go do that.
Okay.
Care Bear shine. Yeah.
And we love you guys.
We love your guts so much. Thanks for balling with us today if you did a little bit. And it's
good for you.
Yeah.
And now you can just move on. Because we probably look like we're fucking insane sometimes, because we're like,
I got the best message from a recent episode where they're like, I don't even know what I'm doing when I'm watching your show, because one minute I'm laughing my ass off and the next minute I'm bawling, and then people are looking at me in the car like, has she lost her mind? And yes, the answer is we are mothers. We are mature-ish
That's what
moms.
we do.
We have lost our ever-loving minds in a beautiful way. Aww. Love your guts, you
Love
guys.
your guts.
All right.
See you next Tuesday.
Thanks for joining, and don't forget to subscribe and, of course, share with your friends. Guys, that's how we impact more lives. All right, see you next time.
Oh, come on in and get a kiss.
I love you so much. A couple more minutes and then we'll come down and play with you, okay? I love you so much. Thank you, Witten. I love you.
So cute. I need a kiss.
I need a kiss.
You guys did need a kiss today.
We did.
You guys were needing your little birdie, your little kisses.